And here we are in game number 8. It is going to be tQState, excuse me, in the bottom center. His opponent is going to be EG.IdrA over here on the top right-ish side. So a Protoss versus Zerg once again. This is game number 3. So we are guaranteed a minimum of 2 more games as it is now tied up 1-1. EG.IdrA just kind of hopping out of that game as he tends not to GG a lot of times if he doesn't feel well about how the pace of the game went. And State's got to be feeling good taking a game off IdrA. That is no small feat. IdrA, once again, one of the best players in North America. And I want to mention, again, that anyone can participate in this. There is open registration for this tournament. This is the first qualifying round. There will be a total of 8. Winner of this best of 5 will advance to the WCG Finals, or the Grand Finals, which is pretty awesome. And got to make sure to tune in for that once it happens. But for now, we have to make it through the qualifying rounds, which is exactly what we're going to do right now. And just to clarify, the national finals is what they will be advancing to. As I was saying, I was like, I don't think that's right. So it is the national finals, and that's where they will compete to go to the grand finals against everyone in the world. Which that's one thing I really love about WCG is it takes the best from each region and just pits them against each other to see who is the best in the world. Really living up to the name World Cyber Games. They also do other games other than StarCraft, but you know what? I've been watching StarCraft forever, so that is the one I always tune in for. And the cool thing about WCG is they were actually doing StarCraft 1 as well, way after the fact of a lot of the like other tournaments had dropped it, other cyber type tournaments had dropped it, just because StarCraft 1 has been around forever, and they continued, they stood by it, and had so many fun tournaments then. So good to see them jumping on the StarCraft 2 bandwagon as well, and going to be giving us a lot of good tournaments. There's a lot on the line here. And right now, both these players want to advance so badly. IdrA, I think, is definitely the fan favorite here, and probably the skill-based favorite. I mean, when you're ranked #1 in the North American region, it's kind of difficult to be beat by someone in a best-of-5 series, just because, I mean, you're #1 already, so you're #1 for a reason. Now, I'm curious to see what State decides to do, because he actually beat IdrA in a fairly straight-up game, and what was crazy to me is that IdrA was able to get in a bunch of Zerglings into the main base and kill off a handful of probes, which is very frustrating. Now, there is going to be a gas steal right now for IdrA. This is so frustrating as a Protoss player and having to deal with this, because you're in this weird situation where if you can't get this gas early, you really can't tech early, which means you either have to expand or sort of do an early attack, which this Zealot so badly wants to attack right now. And I'm kind of surprised that State isn't doing this, to be honest, because a 1 or 2 Zerglings in the main base isn't going to be that huge of a deal. And you know at this stage of the game, there's no way the Zerglings are going to get in there. So it looks, though, like our Protoss player may just be opting to expand. But the fact that State is not killing this off is telling IdrA already my opponent is going to be expanding, which it seems that State will indeed be doing that. One thing about this that I want to mention, though, for State is this is not based on these spawn locations, this build can be very difficult to pull off because the rush distance is so close. I mean, here's the expansion, and based on the spawn locations, look at how close that rush distance is right there. Especially once IdrA starts spreading creep right here. One thing I've seen him do, which I don't think we're gonna see because he has 14 Zerglings on the way. Wow, is he gonna be aggressive this early? That would be absolutely bananas. But one thing you can do is spread the creep there with your overlords and get a Hydralisk attack going, and that can spell a lot of disaster. So is IdrA, what is IdrA up to here? He doesn't have a Baneling Nest, so he's not doing a Baneling Bust, which would do a lot of damage, I think. He just has Zerglings, which this is a lot of Zerglings. The metabolic boost is not quite done yet for that Zergling speed. Our Protoss is going to be expanding, and our Protoss needs to be careful here, because if he expands too early, he will be punished quite heavily. So we'll see if he warps in another wave of units. He does. So now he might be okay as IdrA is just continuing to make Zerglings here. He is going to be moving out, though. Needs to be careful. Our Protoss player getting a little antsy with these units. There is going to be a Zergling run by here. The metabolic boost is nearly completed. And our Protoss player, oh, brother, that's a lot of Zerglings. Doesn't realize that IdrA has been pumping Zerglings this entire time. And he is going to get a sandwich here. All of a sudden, the Protoss player is like, oh, goodness, this is not where I want to be. Those force fields not doing a lot, although it will allow the Zealots to kill quite a few units. And IdrA just outsmarting his opponent right here by making so many Zerglings that he just could overpower that Protoss army quite easily. The Zealots now running out here to try and make something happen, but now that the Zergling speed is done, the Zealots are going to be caught in the middle of nowhere and completely surrounded. So I think that may be it, as all these units are just getting completely destroyed. Now, this build does not usually work. The reason it worked is because IdrA got a perfect surround and took out this army as it was moving out, which it can be very difficult to do. So IdrA really just making Zerglings this entire time. You can see how many drones does he have. He has 20 drones versus 28 probes, which those 28 probe advantage is really not worth it right now. Force fielding to try and hold on the inevitable entrance bust that will be on the way. He does have his Zealots trying to position them here, but the Zerglings are going to bust in here almost immediately. I think they will be running by. So, yep, that force field actually not hurting, are actually not helping the Protoss player there. So there's going to be the GG from State, and we are going to go ahead and go on to game number 4. IdrA really showing us a creative way of dealing with that Protoss fast expand, making a lot of Zerglings and killing them the second they move out. Great play there, and let's go on to game number 4.